Palermo in Sicily, long considered the world capital of the Mafia. And yet the turf wars of the 1980s, which left more than 500 people dead every year, seems to be well and truly something of the past. The arrest of the main leaders of the Cosa Nostra has dealt a blow to the Mafia, but they've also been weakened by the targeting of their assets. In Palermo alone, some 1,700 buildings belonging to the Mafia have been seized. The anti-Mafia squad in Palermo has even set itself up in a confiscated Mafia building. The special force is trying to keep the Cosa Nostra on the run, with round-the-clock surveillance. Euronews was given a rare glimpse inside the headquarters, but the faces of the officers have been kept secret.
Abbiamo un'attività di osservazione. Our
job is surveillance, the tracking of suspects. We listen to everything they say because that's very important to work out where the major assets are. This work is in parallel with that carried out by the anti-mafia organizations, such as the police and other agents who in recent years have arrested well-known suspects. The fugitives we're chasing are the assets.
Over the past 15 months alone, the squad has seized assets worth more than 1.6 billion euros. One recent inquiry led to the arrest of two Sicilian businessmen, a father and son accused of moving 13 million euros into a Bahamas bank account with the help of a Swiss banker. Authorities in Nassau gave the go-ahead for the seizure of the money.
In
recent years, we've seen a change in attitude with European governments, but also outside of Europe. They realize the extreme danger surrounding illicit money because it can contaminate their healthy and legal economies. This is why they're given the necessary tools to collaborate with the Italian authorities.
The Sicilian Mafia was born in rural areas at the end of the 19th century. It's here in Corleone, between two beautiful valleys, that the world's most powerful and violent Mafia gang developed. This property near the town belongs to Toto Riina, described as the boss of the Sicilian Mafia bosses, arrested in 1993. A new bed and breakfast has been established here, managed by a group of young Sicilians. They belong to a cooperative that makes the most of a law that permits the reuse of confiscated Mafia property.
This is an area that represents for us a feeling of pride, proud to be linked to a place that is the land of redemption, the redemption of our natural beauty, the rediscovery of something for everyone. It's redemption for us Sicilians to be able to take back the confiscated assets as well as our own countryside.
Not far from there is the spot where 11 socialist demonstrators were massacred with the complicity of the Mafia in 1947. But the area is also well known for another reason. An equestrian centre's been built here on the land of a Mafia boss. This in memory of the young son of a man who broke the Mafia's code of silence. Little Giuseppe Di Matteo was kidnapped in 1993 while out horse riding. After 2 years in captivity, he was strangled and his body dissolved in acid. Di Matteo was also the name of one of Palermo's anti-mafia prosecutors, although he's no relation to young Giuseppe. Euronews caught up with the prosecutor in a square dedicated to judges who've died in the fight against the Cosa Nostra. Surrounded by permanent bodyguards, Di Matteo explains how the Mafia has turned white-collar, being used to invest in legal activities. He voices concern about government plans to limit the use of phone tapping and plans to allow the Mafia assets to be auctioned. Some say front organizations for the Mafia will be able to buy back their assets on the cheap.
This will be an incredible defeat for the state, and not only from an economic point of view. I would say it's more symbolic, allowing the Mafia to find a new way of possessing assets confiscated by the courts. That would be like reaffirming the prestige and the power of the Mafia on the ground.
significa riaffermare il prestigio e la potenza
It
di
would
quel
say in the
mafioso.
eyes of the public that we are powerless when faced with the might of the Cosa Nostra.
Dichiarare la propria impotenza rispetto alla potenza di Cosa Nostra.
It's now widely accepted that the loss of assets for the Mafia is much worse than prison. The gangs have less money to flash around, making it harder to attract new recruits with promises of luxury lifestyles. With the support of regional, national and European institutions, jobs are being created with cooperatives that make use of confiscated property, especially farms. Today, red is not just the colour of blood.
We've decided to stay. We've decided to do the most difficult thing, transform our land into something normal. By working hard, creating businesses, travelling, we can get to know Sicily in a free way. That means we can live without the Mafia.
Conoscere liberamente Sicilia significa fare a meno della mafia.
Produce from confiscated land is sold across Italy in shops like this one, which opened a year ago in the centre of Palermo.
This is olive oil produced on confiscated land that we manage in Brindisi. So there's oil from the Puglia Mafia and oil from the Sicilian Mafia. It's up to you.
It's not just about the produce. They're important because they bear witness to the fact that cooperatives have transformed these places from land linked to death to land that gives life.
As well as the produce, customers can learn more about the fight against the Mafia and how confiscated property is being put to good use. There's also a call for the process to be systematic and quick. The space for this shop became available only 14 years after it was seized.
We have to be competitive against the Mafia if we want to beat them. These products should be bought because they're good products. After that, whether it's from Liberia, produced on Cosa Nostra, Ndrangheta or Camorra land, that's added value. For the first time, Palermo can export an image of itself that is different. We can export the anti-Mafia image.
Almost 20 years ago in the street in Palermo, a bomb attack killed the judge Paolo Borsellino. He liked to say, "He who is scared dies every day. He who is not dies just once." Thanks to men like him, the Mafia makes less people scared. But while the Mafia has been weakened, it's far from being beaten.